charming young guests. May this be the first of their many visits to Witchworld. have great gifts, Christine, a great power. You must use it well.
Once you join a coven, you must abide by its rules. And the first rule is obedience to your high priestess. Betty will be initiated tonight.
I will not meddle in the black arts, nor will this coven, you understand?
Hey, welcome back, guys. Super excited. Steven's back with us. Bill will be with us in a second. There's next week's movies. Jen Upton will be joining us next week for two great witchy movies. And we're super excited. Diana Thorne's in one of them. So that's obviously super exciting. And there's Bill. Welcome back.
Sorry, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, hope everybody enjoyed Star Crash as much as we did. Looks like I know Mike definitely did. And the credit, yeah. So welcome back, guys. Let us know in the chat what you felt about Star Crash. What are the feels that you got from it, as the kids said?
Do you have any questions?
Yeah.
Funny.
So your second watch. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Steve.
No, go ahead.
I said this is your second watch, Bill, and I know that you loved it the first time. You still in the Star Crash feels for this.
Oh, absolutely. It's even better the second time you see it. The second time I saw it, I still don't understand most of what happened in this movie. And I don't want to understand it. It doesn't really matter. This is just, it's pure vibes, this movie. And it's everything that Star Wars was the first time that you saw Star Wars, back before they fixed it all up and like erased all the mistakes in it, and it made it like not quite as cheesy as it was when it first played. And it was like a little clunky. It was not super high tech as it appeared. And then slowly they just fixed it up and whitewashed it. But the Star Crash, it's not nearly as great as Star Wars, and nobody remembers it like Star Wars, obviously, but I like it just as much as Star Wars.
It's the best movie ever made with a flying fist-shaped spaceship.
Right?
That mean hand.
Yeah, a giant space claw.
Yeah. How cool is that? I mean, that's like Cobra Commander level thinking.
Yeah.
Well, and Star Wars may have more merchandising, but do you have anything as cool as the Stella Star doll?
Wow.
She could think she found that phallic-shaped weapon to carry around.
No pew pew like Star Wars. This is.
So, I wish there were a ton more. There are some Etsy shops that sell some Star Crash figures, but
those are in the other room.
I was going to ask you.
I didn't bring those out, but they are in the other room.
We knew you had them.
But it's like, I have figures of so many other weird properties. Why can't I get a Star Crash one? Oh, I knew you would have that one too.
Yeah. Oh, Stella's just did a header.
Ooh.
So can I start chilling, or are we waiting for people to recover?
No, go ahead and chill.
Well, actually, so this isn't chilling. This is humble bragging. This is the French edition of the movie we just saw. I think there's got to be an easier way to get into it than I'm trying to remember if I have to slip it out, or I'm not going to do it. But anyway, it's a beautiful box, and you get at the time the print that they have is even cleaner and sharper than the one we just saw.
Wow.
And you get Fantastic Cozzi movie, the or the biographical movie about Luigi Cozzi. You get that as a bonus feature on this thing.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, so and you get the European cut that has the disco track with the theme to Star Crash and an actual song in English that's almost like the Bill Murray Star Wars song. This goes like Star Crash, something is Star Crash. So
Wow.
it's
Wow.
amazing. It's amazing.
But it
So
wasn't
here's,
Stella Star like we heard on our comeback music.
you know, I would love to have a Star Crash tribute album where people just like write songs about Star Crash. And well, actually, let's get to it, shall we?
Yeah.
So our first movie was well, take it out of the bag so it's not all shiny. This is the comic book version of Your, and like an idiot, I forgot to bring the regular edition home from work. So this is the variant copy with art by Fred Perry. If you're in the comic books and you know Antarctic Press, he's like the guy who does Gold Digger, which is one of our premier books. When I said, "Hey, we got Your," he was like, "Can I do a cover for it?" And it's like, "Yes, Fred, we're not going to say no to you, sir." And I don't know if you can see how detailed and
Yeah.
beautiful. This is just a random page. So the part where Your gets thrown off the cliff, there you go. That's how it plays out in the comic book. There's no scene where he hang glides in on a pterodactyl, but he does kill a pterodactyl in the comic book.
That was
And
super
so,
inspired.
yeah, and then there's all kind of. I don't know if there's any. There's more of this in the comic book.
Wow.
So that's Kala from the movie, but that whole scene in the cavern where he causes the flood and all that. That's one. You get that. You get the idol. So I mean, if you remember like the Lou Ferrigno Hulk TV show and Reb Brown's Captain America, and see, there's the big flooding scene. So if you remember like how 70s and 80s, like pretty much all pre-MCU comics were, they were very loosey-goosey with the source material. And this was shockingly close to the source material in ways that showed a lot more respect. I mean, yes, the dinosaurs look like they're made out of paper mache, and yes, it's Reb Brown's got that wig, and yes, there's a lot of cheese, but they really tried. They tried with what they had, and that's pretty cool.
Bill and I have a theory.
Great.
Yeah, we have a theory about that wig. We think it's the same wig from Nighthawks and the wig that Jamie Lee Curtis wore in Halloween 2. So we're going to make an IMDb page for that wig.
Okay.
It made it the whole way to Italy, and Red Brown wore it. So pretty exciting.
So, to answer our friend Vince Cornelius, I've never been to any of the devotionals, but I've watched Michael Pilmer's videos of them on YouTube. So maybe someday I can afford to make the pilgrimage, but on what these guys pay me, it's not going to happen soon.
What's the best way for someone to get the comics that are out?
Okay, so there are several ways. You can get digital copies on a website called globalcomics.com, comics with an X. It's an alternative to Comixology, which is no longer with us. You can look at the first seven pages for free and read them. And then if you get the Global Comics subscription, I do believe you can download the PDF and keep it and read it any way you read your digital comics. So it's a free and legal way, and it supports Antarctic Press. I get mine from a place called mycomicsshop.com, also known as Lone Star Comics out of Texas. So they offer like if you pre-order it, you get a 35% discount, but it's too late for that for number one. But I think number 3 is going to be solicited, and number 4. So those aren't out yet. I'm working on number 3. I finished number 4, so that's ready to go as soon as it comes back from the printer. Or Antarctic Press has a website, but the same guys who do the shipping, who go to conventions, who sweep the floors and clean the toilets, They do the website. So the website's not always up to date. But if you email them and say, give me death, they'll probably they'll hook you up. You can order direct from them.
Right
Also,
on.
because we've all been through something together tonight, if you contact me on social media, I will put together a WeTransfer file that's got a digital copy of your, and then the Luna Diamond book I'm going to show you, and G Rangers and a bunch of shit that I've been working on. So if there's any of it that you like, support the creators and somehow get a real copy somewhere. Otherwise, just consider them review copies to be shared among friends, and because I need your help. I need your help. We'll talk about Luna Diamond. So this is the Star Crash 2.0 book. You can get it as a book off of Amazon. It's $19, and it counts for the free shipping if you want to, add it to your $35 order. It's the screenplay. It's Luigi Coti's screenplay with some illustrations. Luigi did some sketches, and then he commissioned a real artist to take over and help with the visualization. I've got a real comic book artist named Alessio Nocerino. He's in Rome. He lives in Rome, the same city that Luigi lives in and his store is in. He went over to the store once and said hello, but they didn't, for whatever reason, they didn't become fast friends. Alessio did a beautiful piece, and I hired a real comic book colorist to color it. And then Luigi thought it was too dark, so he hired somebody else to recolor it brighter, so it looks on brand with Star Crash. And Alessio hates this coloring job and tells me every time,
Oh,
every chance he gets. But so this one, um, we Luna Diamond becomes a mermaid, and there's a ship shaped like a dolphin, and it's got space Vikings.
wow.
Yeah, I mean, it in tone and execution, it is very much like Star Crash, but um, like I said, the Space Claw was in it, and when we weren't able to get the rights, if you get the Shout Factory Blu-ray or DVD of Star Crash, you get a PDF that's got the screenplay with behind the scenes production design and paintings and visualizations and all kinds of really cool stuff. And that's kind of what sold Antarctic Press on the project, was that there was this beautiful behind the scenes vision that they just couldn't pull off with the technology and the budget that the movie actually had. So I'm losing my train of thought because it's late. So um, so the things that we had to take out that were tied to Star Crash, Luigi and I put back in to this version of it, because if it's not in Star Crash, he technically still owns it. So instead of the Space Claw, there was originally going to be like a Gothic cathedral that was like the villain's space base. So we put that instead. And Luigi's loves a book called The Star Kings by a guy named Edmund Hamilton. I think so. Anyway, there's a book called The Star Kings, and there was another book that he draws from. The Count Zarth Arn name came from, I believe it was from the Star Kings. And since we couldn't use the name Count Zarth Arn, we changed it to Shor Khan, which Shor Khan is the other villain from this other book. Somebody somewhere is going to correct me about the old timey sci-fi books, but anyway, that's the kind of stuff we did. And we couldn't use the two robots, the golems. Couldn't use those either, so instead he created a new robot that's essentially the a robot version of the dancing idol from Golden Voyage of Sinbad, because he freaking loves Ray Harryhausen and he freaking loves Golden Voyage of Sinbad. That's why
We could tell.
it was because of that movie that Carolyn Monroe was hired to be Stella Star. He had like one Stella Star in mind. It was her. So for this one, we can't use Carolyn Monroe's likeness because that became another project. So I was going back and forth with him, like, well, whose photo should we give to Alessio to use as reference for our new Luna Diamond character? And so I sent him some pictures of some Bollywood stars because I love Bollywood. And I thought they kind of had that exotic look that she had from back in the day. And he's like, no, 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 no. And so there was some Mexican pop stars I like Talia. I know she loves the MCU movies and would probably even maybe even consider producing something like this. No, 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 no. So famously, like Mark Hamill said, like when he was making Star Wars, that he realized that Luke Skywalker is George Lucas's idealized heroic version of himself. So all he did was like imitate George Lucas, and then he didn't need to be directed anymore. He was fine. So I thought, well, obviously Luigi wants to make this like an Italian, this Italian space movie. So I'm like, who is in a science fiction movie who's Italian that I really like? Can you guess yet? So I said, how about Princess Aura from Flash Gordon 1980? How about Ornella Muti? And he was like, yes. And he told me, send me a little story about how he'd almost worked with her, blah blah blah. So if you look very closely, you see it.
Yep.
You see so I mean, obviously we can't make it look exactly like her either. But I did get my little Talia reference in, because at one point Talia, for the World Cup, she did a song where they took a soccer ball and cut it in half and used them as bra cups. So we took a moon and cut it in half, and that's her bustier right there for Luna
Fabulous.
Diamond. Yeah. So, and then for the robot, he wanted something that didn't look like a man in a suit. And he sent me a bunch of pulp magazines. And so he liked the kind of like stick ball and socket kind of robot. And then for Acton, for Marjorie Gortner's character, he originally he wanted like a heavily, this is from some pulp magazine that's hopefully is public domain. And so he always wanted it to Acton to look like this, but Marjorie Gortner refused to wear the heavy makeup or wear makeup that covered his face. So we're going back to the source, and that's Acton in Luna Diamond, except he's called Carr. And for the robot, the L name that the Hamilton Camp voice police robot has, that the L was for Luigi. So he was like, well, how can I do something self-referential? So I said, well, why don't we call it K0 K0-Z. So we were just going to call it Coetzee. That's the robot's name, because we're really super clever that way. But
maybe that's where that story of Marjo not wanting to wear that wig that you found, Bill, came from.
Yeah, he didn't put it on. I mean, you don't see him in a fright wig throughout the whole movie.
Well, they might have worked their way down from like this heavy makeup to a wig to just his natural fro. But anyway, so that's so Luna Diamond is, like I said, it's the screenplay. It is a screenplay written by Luigi Coetzee. It's and we really need your help. So we need your help out there. Whether you buy the book for $19 or just tell your local Star Crash fans about it. Contact the Star Crash fan club. Tell them it's out there to be had. It's available worldwide. Because what happened was Antarctic Press, when we lost the Star Crash name and the Stella Star name, they got kind of tepid about it. So they're like, yeah, we'll publish it, if you get it done. Blah, blah, blah. The artwork's going to be beautiful, and it is as fun as Star Crash is a movie, you'll get to see Luigi Cozzi's vision without being hampered by budget or technology or anything else. But there, it kind of it's a new and it's a brand new thing. We can do whatever we want with it. We could do sequels. We could do. I would love to see this as a Tubi movie. I mean, you could totally make it for $4 million and with After Effects, and you've seen Blood on Millie's Moon, right? You've seen what he can do with After Effects. It could totally be done like that. It could be totally done as a musical, like with Italian, with Euro dance music and whatever. It could be like as fun as hell. Like I said in the chat, Star Wars isn't what it used to be, but imagine a Euro disco space opera.
The links in the chat, if anybody, the Amazon links in the chat, if anybody is interested in checking it out.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
It's a very long link, but that's it.
It's not a clickable link. You have to like highlight it and copy it. But
but or if you go to Amazon and I just typed in Luna Diamond, Luigi Cozzi or Luna Star.
It's probably easy to find that way.
Just Midas Star, Cozzi's name plus Midas Star or Luna Diamond. So So when he sent me the screenplay, English is not his first language. He's fluent enough, and he can be understood as he's being interviewed. But to write a whole screenplay in English, it was a rough read. But luckily, I've seen Star Crash enough that I could figure out what he was getting at. So I asked him. I said, "Hey, could I rewrite this with proper English grammar, and could I add some things to it because his version ended very abruptly." And so I added a couple of MCU end credit type scenes to wrap things up a little tighter. And I would say, if he were to dispute this, I would go with whatever he says. But I think somewhere between it's 2/3 to 3/4 his and maybe 1/4 mine. So I did a little bit of tightening up of some scenes and all that. So I did edit some of it and add a few bits and pieces and switch some of the changes, punched up some of the dialogue so it's like sounds a little more natural. However, as you've seen from Star Crash, you don't want to go too far. You don't want to make it too slick. Right. I mean, I really went back and forth. There were some lines that I don't think he meant it to be funny, but they were funny as hell. So I was like, you know what? I'm leaving that the way it is. So you get the Cozzi flavor.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I got to respect. He is the maestro, so and it is his universe, and I just got to play in it. But
if anybody wants to check out Blood on Millie's Moon, it's on Tubi, or at least it was. And man, it is a trip inside the mind of Luigi Cozzi. There's one point where he wakes his wife up in the middle of the night and asks her, "Am I Ed Wood? Am I the Italian?"
Yeah,
and she goes, "Just go back to sleep." I've lived that scene in my own life, like waking my wife up to ask her a question about movies, and she just says, "Go." And also, we were talking about it when we were off camera. Luigi also raps the end credits. He has a little song that he does. It's amazing.
He's got a really silly sense of humor, and it's so endearing, and that he would come out, this schmo would approach him with like, "I've got some covers from some comic books. You want to do your space masterpiece, one of your biggest claims to fame. Would you let me play with that for a little bit with me?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure." And he did this. So if you contact me through social media, I'm Mr. Stephen Ross on Instagram, or if you find me on Facebook, Stephen Ross, I'll put together a PDF. It'll have Bikini Sentai G Rangers, and it'll have a PDF of this in screenplay format. And I've got a visual guide that also has like the stuff we went back and forth with, like the way the bustier should look, like his own designs and all that. I'll throw that in there too, and just kind of keep it to yourselves. And if you, like I said, if you like it, buy the book off of Amazon, buy Bikini Sentai G Ranger, look for at your store, whatever. But anyway, I think that's the most shilling part of the shilling.
But I'm really looking forward to reading the book in, and as well as I've read the first 2 issues of Your, and it's great. Like I'm so excited that I'm also always excited to find someone else, first, that has seen it, and
Yeah.
two that cares about it as much as me. So it's always super nice to connect with someone over Your.
Yeah, and I honestly believe, like, I mean, I know these things are what they are, but at the time that a lot of them came out, and at the time they came into our lives, they were only a step down from the best of the best. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, Star Wars came out, and then there was no space movie for however long. Like Alien came out, and then, you know, in between those tent poles, it was just whatever Roger Corman put out in theaters, and then like maybe something on TV, like, you know, Battlestar Galactica. Yeah, that was pretty great, but still, you know. And then once that was gone, it was gone, right? So, um, so these little Roger Corman movies like Battle Beyond the Stars and Star Crash and a lot of the movies we love here, Inframan and whatnot, they were treasures at the time for their time. So instead of making fun of them, I mean, you can have fun with them, obviously, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and some of them, you could tell that the people behind the scenes must have been like laughing there. The people who made Flash Gordon were like laughing their asses off between bumps of cocaine.
Yeah.
but,
Finally, someone said it. Yeah.
yeah, but that was, I mean, that was like pretty much every 80s movie, right? So, but you know, I would like to kind of bring these into the 21st century with a little more respect than, you know, just millennials going ha ha ha, look how stupid. And I mean, your was legit, and Luigi Coetzee, he loves this stuff. And if you saw all the pulp magazine stuff that he poured into this, it's like, I heard somebody was saying, like, there was one of those it was one of those other bad movie channels on YouTube, and they were like kind of going, they showed the opening shot that's got the spaceship going over the camera, just like the opening of Star Wars, and they were going like, ha ha ha, yeah, of course he didn't see Star Wars before he made this. And I'm like, you know, that shot was in the trailer, so it is conceivable that the shots that you resemble something from Star Wars where he saw the trailer, and then the rest of it is Golden Voyage of Sinbad, Flash Gordon, Edmund Hamilton pulp stories, um, you know, and whatever else from the 1950s.
Yeah,
So,
that's what I like about it. It is a lot more pulp, and like both his Hercules movies and the Sinbad that he kind of fixed up for canon all
mhm,
fit into that same world too. They're all exciting movies. Like they're
right.
fun.
Well, Vince Cornelius was talking about, he said Kazar and Conan days. Yeah, Yor looks a lot like Kazar
He does.
physically,
Yeah.
and the comic reads like Savage Sword of Conan. And um, so I did have a couple of future shills that does remind me. So the thing that I do on a regular basis for Arnanic Press is I edit a comic called Jungle Comics, and I think we have the first Latina jungle girl. There was a Brazilian jungle girl called Valkyria, and so we're running that story, but it's coming to an end very soon. Um, and it's been fantastic for us. Sales have gone up. The artwork is beautiful. Again, if you like old Warren magazines, it's on par with that. But our second feature is called Zan of the Jungle, and it's an Italian ripoff of Tarzan. And there's a Zan of the Jungle movie,
Man.
but it's virtually unwatchable. And I can't.
It's on my site today. Actually, Tarzana is on it.
No, not Tarzana.
Oh,
Zan of the
Xana.
Jungle.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Zan of the Jungle. So, and he looks like Kazar. He looks like a cross between Fabio and Kazar in this comic. He's got long blonde hair, and he has these little speedo trunks with like leopard skin on him, and he talks to animals, and he goes up against like, you know, evil hunters and stuff like that. But I asked an Italian friend, does Zan have an origin story? Because like the Tarzan origin story is almost like Superman. You know, everybody
Mhm.
knows the Tarzan origin story. And he said, no. He says that like Italian comics, a guy can live in the jungle and talk to animals, and everybody. You don't have to bother with the origin story. Everybody just gets it. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Um, but I've been asking around to cult movie fans, is the Zan of the Jungle movie based on the comic, or was that just an obvious way to rip off Tarzan, and it was just two completely different people came up with the same idea? Because I could find virtually nothing written about the Zan. There's two Zan movies actually, and the Zan in the movie doesn't look like the comic guy. He looks more like a 1950 one of those 1950s Tarzans with the 1950s haircut and all that. I believe it's the same guy who what's that turkey Blood Freak?
Mm.
Yeah.
I think it's the guy from Blood Freak who
Oh, really?
plays it. Yeah, and the girl is pretty well known to cult movie fans too. So I'm putting out I have no prize for you other than the bundle of PDFs, but I'm putting out a bounty. Yeah, Rima the Jungle Girl. Rima the Jungle Girl was based on Green. It's Green Mansions, which I guess technically it makes her the first. Whatchamacallit. Um, anyway, so that's one shill is for Jungle Comics and Zan. The other thing is that the guys who did Ray Collins and Juan Zanotto, they've got another story called Barbara. So we were running out of Valkyria stories, and at the time I was um, getting together, and I was looking for other things that this publisher had done. And Barbara is kind of like their gold standard, best of the best uh, thing. And so I was like, what is this Barbara I hear about? And it is freaking gorgeous. As beautiful as is, they took what they learned on that and put it in Barbara. It takes place in a post apocalyptic Buenos Aires that had been invaded by aliens, and she's like
Oh, wow.
this sexy guerrilla warrior with a headband and a big gun and Daisy Duke shorts, fighting against the alien patriarchy. And I can hardly wait to get my hands on it. But Antarctic, I think they want to end, or they want to put Jungle Comics on pause. And when I showed them Barbara, they were like, I think we want to make this its own thing. I don't think it should just be
Oh, wow.
I don't think it should just be Jungle Comics with Barbara. It should be Barbara as its own thing. So, but the problem is that the orders for were a little less than what they wanted to be. So they're kind of like, I don't know about these Argentinian comics if they have the appeal that we like them, but I don't know if they have the sales to back them up. So I need to mobilize the army. I need it to be yours world, so we can justify doing something with Barbara. And I would love to tell Antarctic Press, hey, we sold X amount of this $19 Midas Star book. They'll certainly come back and buy the comic book
Yeah.
for only $5. So
Awesome. Steve Hawks is who played Zan. I looked it up. Who was, who was also in Blood Freak.
Blood Freak.
Yeah.
Okay. See, you guys know these things. That's why I love being here. I can just like throw it out there. Look, and I got the Space Claw on my T-shirt.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, you have a different shirt on. You had Star Crash on earlier.
Yeah. This is another Star Crash one. It's
okay.
I think I got this one off Redbubble. So, but they can't say Star Crash, so you just have to go with like Space Lady or something like that.
What do you got here, Bill? The Devil's Ransom.
Yeah, this is something really awesome I discovered this week. I ran it on the page. Of course, Sam, you know about a little about this.
Yep.
And that's your big super crush, Marissa Mel.
Yes.
Screaming in there. I found this in 1977 in Phoenix, which is where I'm running my ad series from right now. The Devil's Ransom, which actually was an Italian movie from 1971. Senza via di gita. Senza via Dulcita. I'm probably totally butchering that. But
I can't
at
pronounce
least in
English, much
71. It's
less
a
that.
thriller.
So.
I've never seen it. I don't know if you have, Sam.
Mm.
I think you have.
Yes, I have. Yes, it's closer to
Well, but I mean, like the plot.
Cremini. Yeah,
The
yeah.
Yeah, the suggestion here is that it's a horror movie and that it's like some kind of fucking Rosemary's Baby shit or
No,
something,
and it's
But
Yeah.
she's like, what has it done to my baby? But no, I don't think it is.
no.
And then I got to
It's
thinking, I
closer to
was like,
like
well,
it's like a Giallo Cremini police procedural movie more than it's any. There's no occult in it whatsoever.
Oh my God.
yeah. Well, that's
I was gonna
crazy
say,
because they actually
is the devil charging a ransom, or is it the devil? Somebody's charging a ransom to get the devil out of trouble.
I don't know, but there's a demon baby in this ad. You can see it. It's the bottom panel in that
Yeah,
side thing.
the
There's the
child.
child.
Mhm.
And it's clearly supposed to be some kind of demonic thing, but that's not what it was. The director of this movie was actually Ray Danton, an American, and his first film, of course, his first theatrical film was Death Master.
Mm-hmm.
He's the
Mhm.
director of the Death Master, Crypt of the Living Dead, aka Young Hannah, Queen of the Vampires, Psychic Killer. Those were all his first 3 films. He directed a lot of TV, including The Incredible Hulk,
Mm.
1 episode anyway, an episode of Dallas, Quincy, Tales of the Unexpected. He did 3 episodes of those.
Ooh.
But anyway, it's crazy that The Death Master was supposedly his first film. This was something that he made in Italy beforehand under another name. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't really understand the story why it came back as this. Here was the original. Wait a minute. Here we go. This is the original from 1975 when it played in the States, I believe. It's with
Say.
Rosemary's Baby for real there. And there's
this one
Marissa
gets
Mel
the
in her
top billing.
undies.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, totally.
I would go see anything with Marissa Mel in it. So I mean, there's that. Bill, by the way, speaking of Young Hannah, Dark Force Entertainment's releasing it Monday on a double disc with
Ooh.
Dr. Death, and it has a drive-in presentation and a glow-in-the-dark cover. I'm super excited about
amazing,
that. Yes.
amazing, and super amazing.
Yeah.
Here's an
Wow.
alternate title for the movie, Diabolical Mistress.
That is closer to what it's about. Do you like that they ripped off the Phantasm line? Well, no, they probably, a lot of movies did the Your Skin's On Too Tight line, Bill.
That wasn't Phantasm, that was Black Christmas.
But Phantasm use it too, though? I thought Phantasm used it too.
No, that was If This Doesn't Scare You, You're Already Dead.
Oh, okay.
They couldn't even decide on a way to pitch this thing. There's like 4 different approaches. It's like, oh, we'll tell you there's a kidnapping and there's a signature plan, and then we'll rip off Phantasm, and then we'll promise you this frightening. What is it? Frightening, intriguing. Yeah, that's an old timey pitch line. And it's weird.
I love the Diabolical Mistress logo. Looks like it's like a store, like a dress barn kind of store, doesn't it? It's like kind of like, come on in, the Diabolical Mistress.
Yeah,
I know people that would shop there.
This Diabolical Mistress is like, now that Hot Topic's all anime and
yeah.
Yeah,
that's the grown up. What do you? There's the grown up.
Yeah, Fredericks of Hollywood's gone.
Come shop here.
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome. Bill, I love this ad so much.
Well, there's more. This isn't even the only title.
Oh my God.
The Devil and Diabolical Mistress.
They really could. Wow, they really couldn't decide on anything on this one.
Who's selling a lot of movies at the box office today? The Devil.
Yeah, I will say, seeing more Marissa Mel in this ad is definitely more of a selling point for me. So
yeah.
She's also got great 70s hair.
Oh wow!
Yeah, now I'm definitely going to see it.
Diabolical, the vicious bitch.
Shit, just call it the vicious bitch.
Yeah.
It
Do you
could be
think
like a
anybody?
sequel to the Joan Collins movie, The
Yeah.
Bitch.
Right?
This is the vicious bitch.
I love that they're like someone. Maybe people will want to see another Phil Pay Leroy movie. Put his name in the credits.
Well, yeah, there it is, director Ray Danton, which I thought was an Americanized,
Yeah,
way to sell this. And I thought maybe Ray Danton shot some Demon Baby stuff and inserted it into this movie a la Pigs,
yeah,
which was
Mm.
actually like a slasher-ish kind of movie with possession subplot inserted. And I thought maybe they did the same thing with this, but no, it's probably just the same movie. Now that I know that it was Ray Danton that that filmed the original, there was no the actual Italian name he used was Piero Shiumi.
yeah. And
Shiume.
he also is listed for as an assistant director on another movie, Oscura il noto ero arbitrari, oppure grande diamante del mondo. Which is he starred in that movie too, so he wrote it and scripted that. Man,
This was from 1980. It was known as Diabolical.
what? How
This is
Mm.
long? This played
Diabolical.
forever, like 9 years. It played.
Mm-hmm.
Could they change it to a Danger Diabolical, and
That last logo looked really close to it.
then you could have John Philip Law stealing a baby?
Oh, I would see that too.
Yep.
If they knew what was good for their movie, that's what they would have done.
Yeah. uh, John Philip Law was looking for work then anyway. I mean, he's in Part of Night Train to Terror. I mean, come on.
I have a John Philip Law story. It's real short. I work in a bookstore. My day job is I work in a bookstore. This stuff doesn't pay crap. So sorry. Anyway, so Jane Fonda came to sign her. This was a few years ago. She came to sign. Actually, it was more than just a few years ago. Anyway, she came to sign whatever book she had just written, and so many people showed up for the event that they put her on the store sound systems. It's a 2-story bookstore, like a Barnes and Noble and Borders. So they put her on the store sound system so you could hear her throughout the store, when she gives her talk and all that kind of thing. So I couldn't make it. It was like a nighttime event and I had to leave. And so I asked the people, some coworkers the next day, how was it? Oh, there were a lot of people. And they told me about the sound system. They said there was this really tall old man who was going around telling everybody who would listen that he would play the angel in Barbarella and that he knew Jane Fonda. And I was like, bruh, that's the least of the roles that are cool, man.
Yeah. I would be more excited about meeting
though.
John Philip Law than her. I'd be like, man, like let's.
I know, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, who is the woman that she played the principal in Rock and Roll High School, Warnoff?
Oh
Mary
yeah, Mary
Warnoff.
Warnoff.
Yeah. She weirdly enough, she came to the store to sign like this indie published poetry book.
Oh.
I know, right? But everybody said she was awful.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's what I want. I don't want her to be nice at all.
Yeah,
I would
if
want
she
her
was
to, like,
nice,
slap
I'd hate her.
Yeah, I want her to spit at me or something.
I want you
yeah.
to say something mean to me because
Yeah.
you're Mary Warnoff.
Mhm.
Have you seen the there's a clip from a Mexican soap opera that kind of made the rounds, and it was like this woman just like freaking out and she smacks
Mhm.
this girl in a wheelchair
Yeah.
and everything. Okay, so that actress was so famous for that role in the Mexican soap opera. She was like the ultimate villain. The soap opera was called Maria La del Barrio. Weirdly enough, the Mexican actress Talia that I was talking about, that we based the Luna
I thought
Diamond.
she was a pop star.
Talia's a pop star, yes, but the actress who did
Oh,
that scene, she may have released a CD. Pretty much all of them do, but like she was mostly known as an actress and
okay.
she's known for that soap opera and especially that scene. Anyway, when she first meets Talia's good girl character in the soap opera, she's a rich girl and she looks down at her, and Talia's like, she was picking trash in the dumpster and was adopted by this rich family out of pity. And so that actress who freaks out in that scene, she looks at her and like her nostrils flare, and she goes, "Marginal," which means like a marginal, like subhuman person, and she would use that word all the time in the soap opera. And she got so famous as like the villain you love to hate that she was on some talk show, and members of the audience lined up, and they put a mic, gave her a microphone or whatever, and she was like looking at them, and she'd go like "Machinal," and then people were like, "Yes, I got called that by."
See, they wanted her to be mean too.
Yeah.
I want the full experience when I meet mean actresses. I want, do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like if,
Yeah.
you know, I know Joan Crawford would probably be nice to me, but like that's not what I want. I want.
She was always nice.
Yeah, I want to be treated like Christina.
She was only mean to people she knew.
She was only mean to people that she raised.
Right.
No,
allegedly.
She was mean to a lot of people.
I know. Oh, and that's also allegedly. I know that we've talked about it last week with Mike, that there's some people that believe one way and some another. You want to see what came in the mail this week, Bill?
Yes, please show us what came in the mail.
3 movies this week. Well, 4, but 3. Look at this. This is new from our friends at MVD and VCI. Dark Knight of the Scarecrow 1 and 2.
Look at that!
Oh wow!
Oh my god!
4K, Bill.
But didn't do it.
Yep. The second one you don't need to watch. Just buy it for the first one. That's nice. We were talking about Shaw Brothers earlier. These are new from 88 Films, The Golden Lotus, which is a gorgeous cover. So that's nice. And I'm super excited about this one, To Kill a Mastermind, another 88 Films release of Shaw Brothers.
That looks awesome.
Yeah. And they're doing a beautiful job on the packaging and the prints and stuff. You get the book, you get a whole ton of stuff, a poster. But all the 88 Film stuff is really awesome. So that's what came in this week. And so that's it. It's 3 movies this week, Bill. It's a light week. I have a stack, honestly, of stuff that just got sent in. And starting Fantastic Fest is coming up, so I'm getting ready for that. And then tomorrow is the first day of every September is Canon Month on the site. So it is Canon Month 3. And I am starting, because I watched all the Canon movies, I'm going into the sub-canon labels. So because Menachem started 21st Century, Bill, I'm going to crack the rest of the 1970s, 21st century releasing movies. So get ready for some prime good movies that you and I like, Bill. Like Too Scared to Scream is up tomorrow. 3 Fantastic Supermen, Flesh and Blood show. Yeah, The Night Visitor, which I know you love, Bill.
I love that. See, that's the movie that first used the tagline, if this movie doesn't make your skin crawl, it's on.
Oh, really?
It was The Night Visitor, I believe.
And
the first time.
The Slayer, which I know you like.
Love The Slayer. Don't know what the hell it's about.
No, I don't know what it's about. Yeah. Manhattan Baby, but under its Egyptian title.
Eye of the Evil Dead.
Eye of the Evil Dead, yep.
If you can find any information about where it played theatrically as Eye of the Evil Dead. I've seen a poster.
I have a poster, but I don't know where it played.
It was like a second feature and a double feature that they put out, but I can't find any newsprint ads. And the only time I can find it showing is when Mona showed it on her TV show. She got all those Continental Video movies like The Deadly Spawn and a couple other things, and one of them was Manhattan Baby under the title Eye of the Evil Dead.
Is that a better title? I think it might be.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
But also, could you imagine people be like, "Oh yeah, I'll watch this," and then being confounded by whatever Fulci made in that movie? Like, what are we watching?
I could not understand what the fuck was going on in that movie.
It. I did a podcast about it, and I'm like, everybody hates this movie but me. I love it because
I didn't hate it.
It's just wild. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing, Luigi? It also has birds come to life and peck a guy's eyes out. That's what I want.
Yeah.
And then
it could happen.
Nightmare City, Eaten Alive, and my favorite, Bill, you know my favorite occult movie is going to be in it. Enter the Devil. Right. It is Eerie Midnight Horror Show. And The Redeemer, Son of Satan. So some good stuff next week. The Phoenix, too, which 21st Century released. The Luxian movie. And they had a lot of Jackie Chan stuff that they released before he was the Jackie Chan we know him today, like 36 Crazy Fists and a few other ones. and then that's going to be all month. So a lot of like weird movies, and also a lot of stuff that Malcolm directed, stuff he did before and after canon. So yeah, so it'll be fun. I got the theme song playing in my ears.
And next week, Jennifer Upton's going to be on the show. We're going to do 2 witch movies, Blood Sabbath and The Virgin Witch, which I know George Reese is going to be really excited about if he's out there watching or if he finds out we're doing it. That's one of his favorite movies ever, The Virgin Witch.
Wow.
And, you know, it's
Is she really a virgin, though, or is this...
Oh, she is. It's a true story.
Oh, okay. All right.
Torn from the headlines, as they say.
It's not fiction. It's
maybe Paul just woke up and is in the chat. So hi.
I know, Paul, you woke up just as we're ending the show.
Yeah. But thanks
I have one more shill. I just remembered about
okay.
Okay, so we're working. So as I told you, like, you know, Star Crash split into Luna Diamond, and there's a Carolyn Monroe art book in the works. We have some beautiful paintings. If you remember the years ago, there was an article, Cinefex magazine did a thing about her. We got that painting. We have people who do new pulp stuff. Some of it are people you haven't heard of, but man, are they fans. So it's going to cover her whole career, and we're going to try to make her as iconic as Betty Page. I mean, everybody loves her. Everybody knows, you know, people who know her love her. And but like Betty Page, you know, she did some sexy photos, but The Rocketeer was what, you know, kicked her in overdrive in the 80s. And this with this one, we kind of want to do something similar. It'll be like tributes to her career, and then there'll be some stuff like what could have been. Like one guy did a beautiful paint. There's a photo of her wearing what might have been the Vampirella costume from Hammer when they were going to do that. So a guy did a beautiful painting of her wearing that. There's stuff of her touching on her appearance in the Goody Two Shoes video with Adam Ant, her collaboration with Gary Newman. There's just all kinds of, like, what if she had been the vampire queen in a Santo type movie? Yeah. So it's kind of her as Deja Thoris from John Carter. Like, what if she had done other Burroughs movies? So it's a lot of fun. I got to get the artwork approved. It's actually going to be blessed by her herself, but I have to get the art. She has to approve all the artwork, and I just haven't been able to get my act together to send it to her and her manager. But it's going to happen, and I think you guys are going to love it.
That's awesome.
I already love it.
Guys, don't forget to reach out to Stephen on social media too, and he'll send you some stuff and point you in the right direction of getting his stuff. And
it's Mr. Stephen Ross on Insta, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just say you're groovy gravy. What's this podcast?
Driving Asylum or Groovy Doom. Yep.
The Driving Asylum double feature is the show. Yeah. The channel is Groovy Doom.
Driving Asylum double feature.
Not Driving Delirium, as Grindhouse called it.
Yes, please don't. Don't call it
that.
Billy Van Ryn from Driving
Billy Van Ryn. That's what
I thought this was BS movies. What the hell?
Yeah, BS.
And next week, of course, same time, same place, Jennifer Upton is going to be back, and we're going to have 2 witch movies to watch, and it's really, really scary. And Nora already said she loves Blood Sabbath, which is blowing my mind because it's, I don't know, to me it's kind of like The Child except with witches.
As Count Floyd would say, watch it on the toilet because you might piss your pants.
We hope you'll be here next weekend for the show. Till then, have a great week. Thanks to Steve Ross for doing the show. We loved having you. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for letting me shill. I really, really appreciate it. I had a blast. You guys are so much fun.
Good. Awesome. Tell everyone how much fun we had.
I will.
Under 17 not admitted without parents or guardian.
under 17 not admitted without parents or guardian.